Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative. I'm literally just finishing episode 1 of Ahsoka. These are, like you may hear, the background end credits of this. And I have to say, this is just episode 1, not episode 1 and 2. I have to say, this is one of my favorite pieces from Star Wars that's come out. Dave Filoni knows what to do with characters, with the characters that he created, Ahsoka Tano, with the story of Rebels and just continuing it, but making it kind of stand alone. Like I'm really happy with this. And again, this is part 1 only, not part 2. I am going to kind of covet this and wait to watch episode 2 until tomorrow because of just how much that first episode, and I really want to take a look and see, yeah, that first episode was 56 minutes. That episode felt to me like a movie. It was meticulously, it was really well paced. Action to get you started, followed by just moments of just like taking peace and taking time to re-meet Ahsoka, or meet Ahsoka for the first time when she's trying to look for a map to Grand Admiral Thrawn and to hopefully Ezra. And if you don't know any of this stuff, this is from Star Wars Rebels. Go rewatch a recap. Screen Crush did a really good recap of the entirety of Rebels, Star Wars, and Ahsoka and what that means to this show. But I am blown away about how fun, how real the characters feel, and by some things that just kind of like play as, you know, like, what did George Lucas say? You know, like things repeat themselves, they rhyme. There is a moment in this that just kind of feels like this. So this is, I would say, just watch it. It's going to be fun. I'm going to start maybe kind of with spoilers right now. There's not really too much to really spoil with this show, being that it's the first episode and it's really just setting up things to go down in the subsequent episodes. But of course, we meet the two, I guess we'll call them Dark Jedi. One is Ray Stevenson, the actor who passed away, and another is his Padawan. And they were on a mission. This is the cold open. They're on a mission to break out, I can't remember the name of the lady, that Ahsoka put into prison in, I think, season 2 of The Mandalorian, I believe. But they break her out. She turns out to be a descendant of the Witches of Dathomir, which is, people thought this could be a thing. It actually is a thing, and that's kind of cool to have. But then goes from that cold open to Ahsoka looking for the map to Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra, and then it kind of moves towards, she has the map, but it needs to be unlocked. So she goes to the only person she thinks can actually figure this out, and that's Sabine Wren, a Mandalorian who is prominent in the show Rebels, and she was one of the ones, and kind of this pays off later on, that was learning how to wield the Darksaber, which is kind of like the lightsaber for Jedi, but for Mandalorians. But there only being one, she doesn't have that anymore. She has her own lightsaber, which you find out later in this. But basically, Ahsoka takes this to Sabine. They're kind of not on speaking terms. Things are pretty awkward. Things have fallen apart over the years. But what I think is a really fun dynamic is Ahsoka, from where you've met her previously in the Clone Wars, in that original Clone Wars movie, to, you know, moving up now, she has now become that stoic master, that wise person, that quiet person, where she started as being like this rambunctious just teenager. And it's kind of funny because now she was training Sabine to be her Padawan, or train her to be something, not a Jedi, but something else. And that got cut short. But you can see by the way that they interact with one another, it's basically Anakin taking care of a rambunctious Padawan that's doing things on her own. In Sabine asked to see the map, which is this orb, and she's like, I need to take this to a place where I can focus and be on my own and really look at this. And Ahsoka says, no, you're not doing that. We have to keep this here. We need to figure things out. She goes to speak to her droid companion, and of course, Sabine, doing something that Ahsoka would have done, instantly takes it away because she knows she's better in her own environment. And this goes to show that there are these action set pieces that are really beautiful and fun and, again, action-packed, but they really balance so well with just moments of characters really figuring things out. And you can see it by the cinematography. By the way, the first maybe third of this episode is really, it feels like it's shot in this, it's trying to emulate how the original movies were shot. Not a lot of moving cameras, a lot of stable footage with maybe this kind of slower pacing that the original trilogy has. Of course, later on in the episode, things move to a more like dynamic camera angle and cinematography, and things move with the characters, and that it just kind of feels like more, I guess, present day Star Wars, but it really felt right that things started at, I guess, an original trilogy pace, which is kind of like what we really have been through. It was really odd, and I think for all of us, we had the original trilogy pace, but that was something taking place in the middle of a story. Then we went back in time and had 2000s cinematography telling a story that was older than what we'd had, and then we went in the future to where we kind of are right now with like the newest trilogy, and it's never been balanced, because the old movies always feel old and the newer movies feel newer, but it's kind of the way that the story was told was kind of flipped. I like the way that Dave Filoni directed and wrote this episode masterclass at just kind of balancing our expectations as fans of the original trilogy, Clone Wars, everything. And it's so fun to see somebody who cares so much about this. And I do have to say, so a lot of the times Disney uses the volume to film these things, where, let's say, that background is not really a background, it's kind of just like cut. It is an LED emitting just background that kind of casts light, but it is just cut, and you can kind of tell by, somebody's walking in a certain direction, they can't deviate too much because it wouldn't really work for the filmmaking. But starting this episode off with these really stable shots, it really makes the physical and the volume really work well. Like, you don't really see the seams in it, it's just there. And even when the shots are more dynamic, they feel really well intentioned. And there's only one shot that felt like, okay, I can definitely see the volume is there, and it's not like a deep shot, and that is kind of near the end of the episode, but still they lit it in a way that would make sense for it to look the way it does. But anyway, I have to go back to the story just because Sabine's taking it to, she's on Lothal. She's still thinking about Ezra. She knows this could be a possibility to go back with Ezra. She figures out the key and combination to open this up. A hologram is emitted from that, and you can easily see there's a galaxy in the foreground that's pointed to with kind of this like little hologram laser. And she's like, I've got this. But at that time, the Padawan of the Dark Jedi has been sent to Lothal to not really find Ahsoka, but to find Sabine, to use Sabine against Ahsoka. Or maybe to find Sabine because they also know that Sabine is somebody who can help with this map. But, you know, Sabine figures it out. They do obtain the map orb, and then the Padawan and Sabine fight. And it's a beautiful looking fight, again, for a TV show or a streaming show, but it's more, I would say, like, it felt more movie-like. Everything is so perfectly intentioned in the way it's shot, and I after seeing so many subpar, like, Marvel movies and, like, DC movies, it's really, like, it reminds me that the Lucasfilm and the people that create this, with the exception of, like, The Mandalorian Season 3 being kind of like an up and down, you know, stopgap, but Book of Boba Fett, terrible story, pacing, everything, but it, like, Andor, beautiful TV show, beautifully shot, very, like, melancholy, very drama, very just like a much quieter show. This kind of feels like it's balancing, like, giving us these action set pieces and giving us just real characters that are cared about, that do things that make sense. And again, I really like that now Ahsoka's that stoic master and Sabine's that rambunctious Padawan. It's like, that is really, really fun to see. And that was just like, I get what they're doing. It's really, really cool. But again, this being spoilers, Sabine loses the fight. And I mean loses the fight, where lightsaber goes right through her midsection, and Ahsoka is almost there to reach her. Ahsoka and her ship is almost there to reach her. You can tell that the Padawan and her droid escorts are gonna get away, but it ends as it cuts to black. Sabine falls, and it can't be that she dies, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in episode 2. I hope to God she continues on with this, but I'm thinking, because in the trailers we do see Sabine with short hair, and Sabine just as, I guess, what we would assume is her cutting her long hair that she has in this show, back, cutting it, and then moving on and progressing with the show. Like, she's cutting it to mean, like, she's serious about this and she's going on. But I'm hoping now that this just wasn't a flashback of her cutting her hair originally to the kind of the length that we know in Star Wars Rebels. I hope it's not that. I hope this is not like one of those moments where a character that we love passes away immediately. But at the very least, what this reminds me of is and this is spoilers for Secret Invasion, Marvel TV show, is the big shocker was Maria Hill dies in episode 1, and she dies in the same way. You can see her dead, and, you know, that show was all about, you know, body snatchers, shape-shifting scrolls, and the camera lingered on her to let you know that this character was not coming back. It felt so empty in that TV show. This show, doing kind of about the same thing, made it feel real. Like, in Secret Invasion, Maria Hill just gets shot by someone pretending to be Nick Fury. No fight, no anything, just kind of like chaos. This was a fight to the death, protecting this map, trying to get back to Ezra, trying to get Grand Admiral Thrawn, and really, Sabine is holding her own until just the, you know, you don't get it that one time, and then you're done. Episode 1 deserves its own review, and tomorrow I will watch episode 2, and I really hope that the quality of this continues. I have no idea, because, you know, so many shows start off strong and can go down, but this may just be like a weekly thing where I review this, and I'd be extremely happy to do so. I've started doing more TV and movie reviews, and I'm really happy that I found some good content. Another thing you should watch is Blue Beetle. That's been pretty good at just being an entertaining and well thought out summer blockbuster movie. This is just good. I really hope people watch this, because Disney Plus kind of has this bad vibes thing going on with this. A lot of their stuff is just Marvel, and Marvel is not doing well, so I really kind of group Disney Plus in there with it. But I have to remember that Star Wars is kind of its own separate thing. Andor was amazing, and I'm thinking that this just may be a great follow-up to it. We'll see exactly how this goes with the rest of the story, but beautiful first episode by far. I'm sure you can tell like the passion in my voice. And again, this being just about an hour, it felt like a movie. It felt like all the beats of a movie, with a cliffhanger to lead us into the second part. All right, guys. If you have any comments or questions, put in the comment section below. Don't forget, I am on Instagram and Threads at M8B9. You can email me at creativenyc2023@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next time.